Hey, YouTube friends and family, what's going on? Hey, coming back to you with another video regarding authorized user trade lines. Man, I tell you, stay with me to the end of this. This is going to blow you away. The next two analysis. If you missed the last two, I did 1 and 2, part 1, and 3 and 4, part 2. And the reason I broke them out, I think one's 22 minutes, one's 19 minutes, because look, I know how it's tough on the attention span. So, but uh, but hopefully got a lot out of those videos, and you check those videos out. If you're looking at this, if you're watching this video out of sequence, I'm gonna put a link below in the description so you can watch the other two videos. And then also I'll put them on the end screen so you can click on. If you watch to the end of this video, you can click on either one of those also. But look, I'm gonna keep going on these. What a great study that a Superior uh, Tradelines did, and I'm just going over the analysis with you. Hopefully, save you some time and hopefully save some money. But this is going to blow you away. I think 5 and 6 are the two most explosive part of the revelation that I've gotten out of it, and I'm sure you will too. But look, hey, before I jump into the video, smash the like button. You know that helps my algorithm for my channel. Hit the notification bell for upcoming content. Feel free to make a comment if you like. Share this information with your friends and family. Don't keep it to yourself. You know I always say that. And then, but most of all, subscribe to my channel. Subscribe. Thank you. And that also helps my algorithm too, right? So look, let me jump into it. This is analysis 5. We have 1 and 2, 3 and 4. This is the third video of 5 and 6. And this is based on average distribution of credit scores. Most individuals do not need to get a specific credit score when moving forward with their financial goals. Instead, they need to fit into a general score range. And you guys, I put the score ranges up for you before, but in case you forgot, look, credit scores lower than 580, and we're talking FICO scores, are considered poor. Scores 581 to 669 are fair. Scores 670 to 639 are good. Scores 640 to 799 are very good. And scores 799 and plus is considered exceptional. And I'm just going to drop this while I'm flying over. Look, I mean, this whole thing trying to get to 800, 850, whether it's creators or people think, oh, I got to get to 800 score. It's kind of ridiculous because of the fact that, just live your life. Use your credit as you need to. You want your score at their highest peak, before you apply for something? Absolutely. But look, when you have at least a 760, you pretty much are going to get approved for anything you want and apply for, barring, some other circumstances that you may have. I don't know. But 760, you get there, you're good. Okay. But the 800, 850 people trying to, it's really to ad nauseum, and I'm kind of over it just because it's really, people call me, oh, I got one inquiry. I'm trying to get the 800 score. I'm going, why? I just want to get to 800. That doesn't make much sense to me. But anyway, to each his own. Look, my soapbox. The distribution, both before and after the trade lines were added to their credit reports, were recorded and analyzed. Many lenders use the credit score from all three bureaus to determine an applicant's scored range. This was emulated by comparing the average of the before and after scores of all the credit bureaus. Before, it was found that most participants started the study in the lower categories. This is a little surprising to me. 34.56 in the poor category, 48.38 in the fair, 13.68 in good, and 3.39 in very good, and 0% in excellent. That's how rare that, so if they would have been excellent category, they would have had a 799. 0% out of 512 people. Goes to show you how many people have those kind of scores when people go, oh, I got 800. Sure. If you do, great, wonderful, good for you. But this shows you different. So after the addition of the trade line, it was one trade line. Most clients were in the middle to upper were in the middle to upper credit score ranges. Now check out the difference. So the poor scores were. Remember the percentage was 34.56. After one trade line, it went down to 9.68. So their scores went up. Fair category went from 48 to 51. Not about 3%, but the least difference in change, right? Good category was substantial from 13.68 to 27.14. Very good category, also a substantial change, 3.39 to 10.63. It's a very good. And the excellent category did have some change, but not a whole lot, 0.63. The analysis showed that roughly 20% of individuals with poor credit scores improved their credit score by adding trade line. Additionally, the proportion of clients who had great or excellent credit scores increased from 3.39 to 11.26, which is really substantial. These factors indicate the average client saw a positive shift in their credit rating due to the trade lines. Fitting into a higher category can have many benefits like achieving lending, higher rates of approval, of course, larger limits granted, and lower interest rates are just a few reasons people are trying to improve their credit scores. The findings. This finding implies that the number of participants who qualify for higher credit score brackets increased after the addition of trade lines. So let's show you this graph that you got in front of you here. So you're probably thinking, what is this? So basically, this was before and this was after. And if you take a look at, the poor category, with the one trade line, look at the huge difference in trade line. I mean, so this was a 34, and then after the trade line, it went down to 9.968. 48%. Like I said, the least on the fair scores, but it did go up a few percentage points. But the least amount of percentage jump. But the good scores had a really good leap here. Was it 13? Yeah. So from here to here, it went from 13.68 to 27. That's definitely worth. All of these are worth buying a trade line or having a trade line added. Having you be added as an authorized user, right? So all of these are really good results. And then once again, the smallest percentage, once again, not even on the pie chart here, a 0.63 that went from very good to excellent or exceptional. So so I mean, really, this just goes to show you that trade lines work, and it shows you the impact of a trade line, what it could do for you. The only thing they don't mention here, which I could say, and they would tell you also, is that don't come in with bad credit. So poor credit, when he's starting out here, that could mean that maybe they had some 30s and they're older and their score got beat up. They haven't added any recent trade lines. Maybe they got a few accounts that are dormant. But I wouldn't, take this as meaning that poor means poor, which means they had 2, 3, 30, 60-day lates. They got collections and all that kind of stuff. Because based on my information over the last 35 years, and people who have bought in trade lines, they'll call me and say, man, I bought 2 or 3 trade lines and my score only moved 10, 15, 20 points. So I would say really try to clean up whatever it is first if you got lower scores, then buy a trade line up. And I would believe Superior Trade Lines would back me on that too. But something you could mention you could talk to them about. They're more of an expert than I am. But these findings here, I think, are pretty incredible. And analysis 6, I think, is the most shocking of them all. I think and once again, don't click off early because you want to hear this, okay? Analysis 6. Average increase based on limits. Many individuals who research authorized user trade lines want to buy the biggest trade line possible. This comes from the belief that large trade lines will result in the maximum increase of their credit. Analysis 6 looked at the average change in credit scores based on the trade line's limit to analyze this mentality's truth. There are 8 categories that they did, okay? And this is a dollar amount, 0 to 6,000. These are all trade lines. 6,000 to 999, 10,000 to 14.9, 15,000 to 999, 20,000 to 24.9, 25,000 to 29.9, 30,000 to 34.99, and 35,000 plus. And once again, all of those are trade lines. Based on many factors influence the range of the credit score, it can be tricky to isolate one feature. Only clients who ordered one trade line were included in this portion of the study to account for this. This simulates and ensures that there was no need to account for the limit of multiple trade lines. 512 of the participants were included in this analysis. This is where it's going to be shocking to you guys. It was found that the addition of trade lines with limits of 35,000 had the highest average credit score. No shock there, right? But check this out. The credit score boost for this category was 91%. That's for the 35,000 plus credit limits. Okay, we all thought that. This limit group was followed closely by the trade lines with limits from 10 to 14,999, with the average increase of 85 points. The next highest was the 15 to 19,000, with an increase of 79 points. All the other categories had roughly the same impact, resulting in a median increase of 60 points. So the 20, 25 to 30, the 20 to 25 to 30, these surpassed those. Once again, the 10,000 to 14.99 is second. The 15 to 19 is third. So we've heard all the time, based on other trade line companies, they're always getting you to pay a higher price for the higher limit, right? Well, doesn't sound like that's the case here. And that was based on 512 people. It gives you a good enough average to believe otherwise, right? Contrary to what we thought. In addition to the trade line with the addition of the trade lines with the largest limit resulted in the most significant average change in score. Of course, the $35,000 one. This implies that the biggest trade line can be the better. However, the trade lines with the limits of 20,000 to 34,999 saw the lowest average change, which contradicts this sentiment. So, once again, if you're 35 plus, yes, but it looks like between that 20 and 34,000 range, it's the lowest after the 10 to 14 and the 15 to 19. These results are significant because they contradict the hypothesis outcome that the larger limit trade lines always have the most significant contribution to the credit score than a smaller trade line. This indicates that while large trade lines added to someone's credit report can have material impacts on the credit score, this is not always the case. Since many factors contribute to a credit score, it is important to fully consider all aspects of a trade line when adding a trade line, easy for you to say, to your reports, not just the trade line limits. The change of the credit score is not solely due to the limit of the line that is added. While it's an essential factor, it can be thoroughly analyzed independently of the trade line's age that is added. Okay, so let me take you down to this chart, so this is basically what I was talking about. This is based on age and one trade line that we just saw from 512 people. But if you look here, the $35,000 authorized user, 91 points, right? Then the second, you pop over here to 10 to 14,999, 85 points. And once again, this was done out of 12 people. You could take that for what it's worth. But I would say this is a pretty accurate study, if you ask me. Just my 2 cents. And then the third is the 15,000 to 19,999. In third place, fourth place is, and check this out, 0 to 6,000. And I think I showed you guys yesterday. I put my son as an authorized user on one of my cards. It was a 16. If you hadn't seen that video, check it out. It was a $1,600 trade line that I had. And yes, it did have some age, but it was a lower trade line. But I put my son in it. His scores were like 762, 741, 719. And he was able to go on and get his own Discover card for like $3,000. And they put him in a higher category for credit. Because if you could do that for yourself, or you do that to help a loved one or tell a loved one this is very powerful. Then they don't have to get into those lower tier cards like Capital One Platinum, Credit One, and the hundreds of other, lower end cards, including secured cards. I just figured I'd drop that over while I was flying by. But then, 0 to 6,000. Who knew? 6,000 to 999. And then remember when they talked about 20,000 to 34.9 was the lowest impact trade line out of all of these, right? The larger, and that's just at 20 to 34.999. 35 substantially different, yes. But what trade line companies had said for years, and I said it this myself, to get a larger trade line with the in more age, of course. That's what I've always said. But it sounds like to me, based on this study, you could get a trade line the same age here, 10 to 14,999, with the same age as a one here, and you're going to come out better based on this study. And I think, boom, that blows my mind. It's a shocker. And I hope this helps you. The guys over at Superior Trade Line and holler at Mike, tell them Tony sent you. These guys are experts at this. When you talk to Mike, you'll find out what I'm talking about. They know their stuff. They'll look at your credit, analyze it, and really kind of help you help pick out the best trade line for you. Look, also, this works if you are trying to help a young person or if you have someone in your family that you can get a trade line from. But look, if you have to buy a trade line, for sure, consider this. Consider Superior Trade Line. I am an affiliate. I'm not just pumping those guys up, but I appreciate, and I hope you guys do too, those guys doing a study, because we've always talked about, look, you know what? And I told my clients, buy a larger trade line, older trade line, which is typically more money. And these guys doing this study, they basically saying that you can buy a $10,000 to $14,000 trade, $14,999 trade line, which is maybe a little more expensive. So I get kudos to those guys, man. Kudos to those guys. Now, look, that's going to conclude my video. I'm going to be bringing you 7, 8, and 9 analysis. I wanted to break this up. I'm going to shut this video down because, look, I know I got a short attention span too. But this is the third installment of the authorized trade lines. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of this video. If you watching this out of sequence, go back and watch 1 and 2. And look, hope you got a lot out of this. Until the next time, I'll see you on the flip side. Tony O, making sense of credit, always. Peace.